Alright fellas, it's been a pretty easy Champions League for us so far, but we've got an All-New Zealand final coming up. Now, Havelock North, they're decent, okay? They've got through in a pretty similar manner to us, so even though we've had the wood over them domestically of late, let's just take it a bit seriously and not bowl it, okay?
Party in the streets and the city's on fire.
Hello everyone and welcome to episode number 157 of the New Zealand Builder Nation here on Shaun Does FM with both the All Whites and Cashmere Technical. I hope you're doing well, and coming up today we've got the OFC Champions League final for 2039, and as expected it's an all New Zealand clash against Havelock North, so we'll be looking for that as well as a recap of how we did make it this far. Then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. It is greatly appreciated. Yesterday had a window with the All Whites where we took on Germany and Paraguay, so if you missed that one, I'll leave a link to it over in the top right corner. Off the back of that, I did say we'd like to get through these seasons, these next couple of the save, a bit quicker than previous ones, considering off the back of these two Club World Cup, and we should have a FIFA World Cup as well with the All Whites, which is probably going to be our last one in the save, even though it does sound like FM25 is going to be delayed by a couple of weeks. Still think that maybe not going to get for another 4 seasons while that delay does take place. So I think these next 2 seasons we can get through a bit quicker, and then the 2 after that might be a bit slower with the club and the International World Cup. With the All Whites, we have made our way through the quarters and the semis off the back of the episode that we did go through yesterday. The quarterfinals, pretty routine. That's the reason we didn't come back for these games. 7-0 in the first leg, 2-0 in the second, away from home with a full rotation. Waniagu got past Tapuji Ameri quite comfortably. Havelock North 9-1 over to Papamaolinga. So they were pretty similar to us in terms of scoreline. And Navua 2-0 over Cossa. Going forward to the semis, we absolutely waltzed away there with that one over Waniagu. 6-0 in the first league, full rotation away in the second. That game a lot closer, it was a goal fest, but 5-4, we win that one. 11-4, the Havelock North Navua semi was actually a bit closer, 4-2 after the first leg in New Zealand, but Havelock North wrapped up the deal there, 3-1 over in Fiji. So 7-3 they go through, 11-4 we go through, to set up an all New Zealand final, and Havelock North as well are the home team. So a big game for these guys, their first Champions League final they make in that season. Hopefully we can pick up a win and make it. I think it would be now about 10 Champions Leagues in a row here at Cashmere Technical. In terms of how Havelock North have been getting on domestically, they're doing an okay job, currently 4th in the Central League. Still quite early days, they've only played 4 games in that league, but as you can see, they may have rested some players for that game from the usual first choice 11, but that's a 2-1 loss against Waterside Karori coming in to this game. So they do come into it off the back of a loss. Hopefully that's something that we might be able to take advantage of and put them in the mud a little bit for the remainder of this season. But this should be a game that we can win. We've taken them on a few times now in this save, and especially of late the Charity Cup earlier this season and the National League final at the end of last season. 6-0 in the Charity Cup, 4-1 in that grand final, and before then some pretty comfy wins in some previous National League Championship games as well. So it's a team we've got a great record against, as is the case with most teams we play here in the save at Cashmere Tech, albeit are going to be missing one of our key players for this game, because unfortunately during that international window in yesterday's episode, David Cifuentes was away with the Spain under-21s and he suffered an injury. He's 5 days away from coming back, so we'll just miss this Champions League final. Thankfully, Marquez, as well as our youngster and Shaun Hall, have been doing a good job while he has been out with a broken wrist. And also worth noting as well, Sam Clark is on a heavy workload, so it does mean our youngster and on loan from Barcelona and Jerome Ndubusi will start this one, but otherwise it's our first choice 11. And a quick look at what's going on in all the sub-leagues as well here in New Zealand, because we've played some of those games while we were making our way through those quarters and semis of the Champions League. We're perfect there in the Southern League, 4 wins from 4. Bit of a fight there between Nelson Suburbs and Christchurch United, the 2 usual suspects in behind us for that other qualifying spot. There's the Central League, as we touched on before. Havelock North actually currently not inside of the top 4. Miramar on top with a perfect record, but not too far behind Western Suburbs and Wellington Olympic, albeit Olympic have played one more game in the Northern League. Not too applicable to today's episode because Northern League's so bad, but Eastern Suburbs have got off to a ripping start there, 4 points clear of Manurewa, a few points further back to Auckland United and Western Springs, and the continuing demise of Auckland City. They currently find themselves in the relegation zone, only on 4 points and with one win from their first 5 games. So that's been happening in terms of the National League here in New Zealand. There's a quick look at the games that we have played since yesterday's episode, all those ones there in the month of April. As you can see, very comfy wins. Coastal Spirit pushed us a bit, as did Waniagu in the second leg of that semi-final in the Champions League, but off the back of that first leg 6-0 win, that wasn't really too much of a concern. A 10-2 win there as well with our first choice 11 the last time they did play a game against Mosgiel. So we are in pretty sharp form here at the moment at Cashmere Tech. Hopefully that will carry over into this Champions League final. We can lift it for a 10th straight season by beating Havelock North. And here are the team sheets of this 2039 Champions League final here in Oceania. They are Havelock North, as you saw before, coming to this one off the back of a loss to Waterside Karori. They are going with a 4-4-2 in terms of us beats 11, apart from Marquez in goal and Indabusi over Clark on that heavy workload. But we should be heavy favourites going to this game. Hopefully can live up to it today in the blue with the white stripes and pick up the trophy for the 10th year in a row. And just shot the 15-minute mark, first highlight of this game. It is to the home team here as well. A free kick to Havelock North, quite close to the touchline, but close enough to inside of the final third. Toure nearly got to that one. Does win it back there, plays that back to Zalek. Someone decent chance there. Marquez might have got a touch on it before it comes off the wall, but it goes back out there to Thompson. Thankfully, blast that one well high and wide. But Havelock North here, you'd argue, are on the front foot early. Still 0-0 though. And it's been a pretty even Champions League final so far, just making our way now past the half-hour mark, and it's our first highlight here. It is a corner, and we take that one short. Debenham gets that one to Janssen, squares it nicely for Jerome and Debussy, a player who I wasn't going to start in this game. Sam Clark is definitely better, but that's a well-worked short corner in Debussy. For some reason, not getting Mark the man from Barcelona. I think that alone would attract some interest there from the Havelock North players. Just a ton of space there in the centre of the box. Puts that one away into the right corner, beats Janakani, and we take a 1-0 lead, 10 minutes shy of half-time. And it looks like that might be all the action for the first half here of this Champions League final. As you can see, stats-wise, it's quite an even game. We do have a better XG with the chances we're creating, even though Havelock North have had more shots on target overall. We've had more shots, and thankfully put that one away there. Fruit and Debussy, for some reason, a highlight there where we didn't see a good chance there late in the first half, and also quite a big one early that didn't pop up either. Now we're going to take off here Jonas Otto on a 6.4. Good player, but very injury prone, so when he's playing poorly, we'll take him off this time for Fernando Osorio, who has been doing a brilliant job, to be fair, in the Champions League the last couple of seasons when he has got his chance. But at the moment, we're doing well. Can probably do a little bit better and hopefully put this one away in the second half, as we currently only a goal in front. And only a couple minutes into the second half, a good chance for us here from a free kick. Lorenzo Janssen will try and put this one into the top right corner, but unfortunately that one just goes high and wide. Still 1-0 Cashmere. And we're just now into the last 15 minutes of this game. The second half has definitely been in our favour a bit more than the first one. And actually, quite fortunately, no players yet dropping down to red hearts, are able to keep most of our starting lineup out there, apart from, of course, Jonas Otto, who we did take off at halftime. Rather fortunately, that ball there did fall to Debenham, played it to Khaled. Lorenzo Janssen with a long-range screamer into the bottom left corner. Does love a goal in a Champions League final. As we know, he'll pick another one up, and hopefully that's the goal now to put this one away. It hasn't been a game full of that many highlights. That ball from Corona, I thought, was a little bit undercooked, but thankfully it found Debenham. He found Khaled. Janssen from well outside the box, beats Janakani there from distance, and hopefully that will put this game to bed. There you can see the XG match story definitely on the front foot as we make our way to the last 10 minutes of this game. And now Khaled drops down to a red heart. We'll play things safe here. Nazinho can come on for him. Still got lots of subs we can use here in the last 10 minutes of this game, just to try and slow the clock down here and hopefully break up anything that Havelock North might try and do. Now Corona next up drops down to a red heart. Vinicius, the all-white, can come on for him. A good show here of our squad depth at Cashmere Tech. Getting quite deep now in this game. And there's a highlight at the 88-minute mark off the back of us trying to throw praise onto our boys. A front and Debussy back out there. Sousa gets it back now. Zorio will take on a shot here from a tight angle. Comes off the woodwork and it will be a corner. So I guess the Yanakani must have got a touch on that one to put it onto the woodwork. So a good save there from the Havelock North goalkeeper. Let's see if we can make it 3-0 from this corner, looking for Anderson. Can't quite find him. Vinicius there. Big looping header. Not too sure if Yanakani needed the diving save. Pulled it out anyway. Make our way into 4 minutes of added time. That second half, though, was very dominant. Not quite the scoreline you'd expect for those stats, but thankfully we get the job done yet again here in a Champions League final at Cashmere Tech. Not that many highlights, but I think we deserve that one based on our performance, as you'll see shortly through the stats. I think in the end it might have been something like 22 shots to 5 overall in that game, and our XG certainly did bump up quite a bit during the course of that second half. But Havelock North made the final in their first season of the Champions League, but still just can't quite get past us in a big game in this save. It might mean, though, we get some new teams we're going to take on in the last couple of years and some big games in this save. That'd be quite interesting instead of the usual Western Suburbs or Auckland City. But to be fair, doesn't look like we're going to have to worry about Auckland City too much for the rest of this save, especially if they stay down in the relegation zone of the Northern League. But there you can see the stats, actually 8 shots in the end there for Havelock North, but we well and truly got on top of them there in the second half of that one. Johnson with a screamer to back up that first half goal to Ndebusi, and we pick up the Champions League off the back of a 2-0 win. So yet another Oceania Champions League title for us here at Cashmere Technical. As we saw before, that will make it 10 in a row and an early season double to go alongside the Charity Cup, where we did also beat Havelock North. To be fair, that game, one of the closest ones we've played against them so far in this save, but some good work for us there. That keeps the board nice and happy early stages in 2039 off the back of a takeover not that long ago in game. Ndebusi got man of the match for that first half goal, which he did score. The Barcelona man stepping up when we need him, with Sam Clark being a little bit of a risk there in that game on a heavy workload. And there is the review. We win the title. Kamalo, their top goal scorer. Jonas Otto, most assists. The biggest overachievers to Papa Maralinga for making the quarters before being knocked out by Havelock North. And as per usual, it's a youth team who get the biggest underachievers, which as per usual does seem a little bit weird. But FM does like picking on the youth teams down here in Oceania. But that will do it for today's episode. Not the longest one because that game didn't have that many highlights, but we pick up the Champions League yet again. If you enjoyed it, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and are enjoying the series here on the channel, also make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. Now I'm going to continue to try and get through this season relatively quickly, so I'm not too sure if we'll come back for anything with Cashmere Tech, because currently this is what's planned for the rest of the season before, of course, the National League Championship does kick in. We've got the Southern League games, which should be relatively simple. Chatham Cup about to kick off. If we get someone interesting in that competition, we might come back for one of those games, but I think I might play the rest of May before we come back for tomorrow's episode, because then we have an international window with the All Whites, which I think is the more interesting side of the save at this point. And coming up in that window, we take on Mexico and the USA, both games being in New Zealand. Mexico, they're currently ranked up in 5th in the world, so that's definitely a tough test for us, albeit I think they could be a team that we could take something off. Of course, we did draw off Germany in yesterday's episode, a bit lower ranked Germany, but still, I think Mexico might be of a similar quality, and the USA, they're around the 9 or 10 mark, about the same as Germany. I think they're a bit more beatable, having been knocked off by Panama and Costa Rica quite recently. So we'll come back tomorrow and play some games there with the All Whites against the USA and Mexico. So until then, thank you very much for watching. Keep on keeping on, and I'll see you then. Cheers.